While features, camera capabilities and raw performance are always at the top of the list when it comes to the defining characteristics of any decent smartphone, this year thickness has been a big part of the conversation too. Sure, Samsung's long-teased Galaxy S25 Edge has made it to market, but the battle is hottest in the foldable space. As far as book-style foldables go, Oppo has held the crown for the most of 2025 with the Find N5. It's an exceptional smartphone and one that might best utilize the benefits of the form factor more so than even the new Galaxy Z Fold 7 and the upcoming Honor Magic V5, which is set to go on sale internationally at the end of August 2025. But for everything I love about Oppo's entry, it's not the thinnest anymore, at least according to these fresher face rivals. While the companies behind all three of these devices provide official figures for their respective devices, and Honor now lays claim to the title of world's thinnest in the book-style foldable category, I wanted to see what was what for myself. Thankfully, Honor was kind enough to send me the ivory white variant of the Magic V5, important because it's the white model specifically that's the real record breaker here. Then we've got the Find N5, which initially launched back in February, and the shiny new Galaxy Z Fold 7, which sheds about 25% of its thickness compared to its predecessor, even if that is at the expense of stylus support, something that neither the Honor or the Oppo have had to sacrifice. And I've even bought a set of digital calipers so I can check measurements across all three of these devices, including ones that the manufacturers don't mention, like the thickness that includes the camera bump, because if a phone's going in your pocket or on a flat surface, that bump still matters. Starting with the marginally older Find N5, Oppo states that this thing is 8.93mm when closed and 4.21mm when open, but right off the bat I couldn't get measurements remotely close to this. In my tests, my closed Find N5 clocked in at 9.17mm. That's 0.24mm thicker than Oppo's claims. Factor in the phone's circular triple camera bump and that measurement grows to 13.8mm too. Fold the N5 open and you're presented with the largest, sharpest display of any of these three phones. With each measurement here, I placed the calipers right where the bezel meets the display in order to try and exclude the pre-fitted non-removable protective film that all of these phones utilize, as that could add up to 0.5mm thickness, which in a test like this is pretty significant. With this in mind, the Oppo clocked in at 4.36mm at its thinnest, while factoring in the surrounding frame raises the thickness to 4.43mm. So not the numbers that Oppo cites, but still undeniably slim. Next up is the Honor Magic V5. Honor has not stopped shouting about its new foldable since its unveiling, but despite that record-breaking, impressive sounding 4.1mm thickness on the white model, it's had to defend this claim several times already. As such, when it came to measuring up, I wasn't expecting to reach that magic number, but I also wasn't ready for the fact that this phone came in thicker than the Oppo Find N5. The best measurement I managed to get was 4.47mm, 0.11mm thicker than what I recorded for the Find N5 when open. Account for the frame and that rises to 4.5mm as well. Closing up the V5, I then logged a thickness of 9.39mm, rising to a whopping 16.53mm when you take into account that deep triple camera array. On the one hand, it actually renders the V5 the thickest of the three phones here, but practically speaking, if you can get on with it in your pocket, it actually acts as a nice grip when doing things like gaming, for example. Finally, the newcomer, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, which looks distinctly different to the other two rivals here with its squared forms and hard lines in contrast to the rounded curves and edges of the other two devices. And it even looks slimmer to the eye too. Despite Samsung not really making any claims, and despite my measurements falling short of the phone's official quoted thickness, the Z Fold 7 still came in as the thinnest of these three foldables, at 4.35mm when open and 9.16mm when closed, pipping the Find N5 to the post in each instance by just 0.01mm without any allowances. Add in the camera bump led by that new 200 megapixel sensor, and it falls to the middle of the pack. However, its offset camera does make it far more unbalanced in certain situations, which might not appeal to some people. So looking at the final results, you can see that despite Honor's claims based on my measurements, which I rechecked off camera a few times too, the Magic V5 actually proved to be the thickest, with the Oppo and Samsung in a close fought battle for the title of world's thinnest, won by a hair here by the Z Fold 7. Of course, chances are you're not going to buy any of these phones for their wafer thin profiles alone, but there are also other decent reasons to opt for all three. Samsung's latest comes with the cleanest looking hardware, the longest software support at 7 years, the widest global availability, and the best customer support in the instance that something goes awry. Even though it's harder to get a hold of, the Find N5 gets my vote, as I think Oppo has made the best use of the form factor here. You get ColorOS excellent open canvas powered multitasking, macOS interoperability with remote control thanks to O+ Connect, dynamically surfaced AI features which are really smart, and stylus support. And if you're just after the best specs and the biggest numbers, the Honor Magic V5 has the most bombast, with an impressive looking rear camera array, the largest battery, and the most diverse set of colorways. But what do you think? Would you rather own the record-breaking foldable, or are there more exclusive features on the other two entries that have caught your eye? Let me know. I've been Alex Walker-Todd, but you can call me Toddy.